Okay, so we've been on a journey in Psalms 23, and I want to continue that journey. We established that this psalm was written when David was having, from what we understand from research, when David was having to deal with the rebellion of Absalom. He flees Jerusalem, he flees his palace, so that he doesn't have to kill his son who was being rebellious and fighting for his throne. So this psalm is written in desperate times. This psalm is written in uncertain times when David has to deal with unfamiliar circumstances, uncertainty. But even though he's dealing with some uncertainties, he expresses his certainty about a few things. In a time of deep uncertainty, he's very clear: the Lord is my shepherd. It's not if, buts, or maybe. He's very clear about that. The Lord is my shepherd. I have a personal relationship with God. He is my shepherd. This is not just about all of Israel. I've taken what is universal and I've made it about me. The Lord is my shepherd. It's a personal conviction that is born and birthed from a general revelation of God as the shepherd of Israel. He brings it home. The Lord is my shepherd. And this shepherd dimension is only experienced if we take on the sheep posture with God. So David is saying, the Lord is my shepherd because I have accepted my role as his sheep. I've accepted to be cared for by him. The Lord is my shepherd because I'm his sheep. I am submitted to God as a sheep would be submitted to the shepherd. And this is not just a once in a while thing. This is a regular thing. I'm not just talking about it as part of a group. I'm talking about it personally. The Lord is personally involved and personally dialed into me as a sheep. So David is saying, I've turned down my self-sufficiency. I've traded my self-sufficiency for a God dependency. And because of this sheep and shepherd relationship, some things are guaranteed. He said, because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Because the Lord is my shepherd, I have everything I need. Because the Lord is my shepherd, I lack for nothing. I wish we could just grab a hold onto this revelation and realize that we have nothing to worry about. We have nothing to worry about. If you have any kids, no matter what age, sometimes when, let's say, you're preparing their food and they get super anxious and you're looking at them like, you ate breakfast. I'm very sure you ate breakfast. You didn't even finish breakfast because you were full. And just because I'm microwaving this stuff, you're freaking out like I've let you starve in this house. You're like, calm down, just give me 30 seconds. That's sometimes how we are with God. It's like, why are you freaking out? Like, have I ever failed you? Why are you doing that? But David is saying, I'm guaranteed. Even though these are uncertain times, he's my shepherd. There is nothing that I need in this season that I don't have. And David, very clear, we established this, I think, week 2 or so, that God doesn't just want to give us what we need, he wants to give us what to need. He doesn't just want to give us the desires of our hearts, he wants to give us what our hearts should desire. He wants to give us what we should want from him. That's a deeper level of relationship where he tells us, hey, I think this is good for you and you want it. So my dependence on him then determines my desires. It's not the fulfillment of my desires that determines if I follow him, as much as my following him determines what my heart desires. So I don't desire anything that is outside of his will for me, anything that is outside of his desires for me, anything that is outside of his best for me. So I trust God's leading, I trust God's plan, I trust God's desire for me. I trust him to lead me. So he leads me, he makes me lie down in green pastures, he leads me beside still waters. So I trust God to lead me it's to the portion of the pasture that I need to feed on today. I trust him to lead me to the waters, to the streams he needs me to drink from. Today, I trust you. I trust that you know just what I need, and you make me and you lead me to what I need. I am in deep trusting relationship with you. So I'm content with whatever God's choice is for me. And let me say that again. I'm content with whatever God's choice is for me. I am content with whatever God's choice is for me. I lie down where he leads me. Oh, that is for somebody here. I lie down. I'm not antsy. I'm not anxious. I'm not looking over my shoulder to see where the other sheep are grazing. God, why did you bring me here? The grass here is not so tall. The grass over there is tall. It looks greener on the other side. No, 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 no. He makes me lie down. I trust him. If this is what he wants for me, then this is what I'm going to grab onto. I'm going to give it everything that I have. I'm safe and secure in God's provision for me. I'm safe and secure in God's provision for me. Sidebar, if you read John chapter 10, Jesus is established as a good shepherd. And to all those, he's a good shepherd to all those who believe in him, all those who have said yes to him. So these promises that are seen in Psalms 23, this narrative seen in Psalms 23 actually applies to us who have said yes to Jesus, to us who are believers, to us who are Christians. This narrative actually should be descriptive of our lives because Jesus establishes himself as a good shepherd. So last week we began to consider verse 3. He restores my soul. Verse 3, he restores my soul. He restores my soul. God is interested. God is invested in the state of our souls. He restores our soul. God is interested. God is invested. God is dialed in to the state of our souls. Jesus has a standing invitation for rest to anyone who is interested. We shared a little bit about this on Sunday. Are you tired? Are you worn out? Are you burnt out in religion? Come to me. Come away with me, and I will give you rest. So there's a standing invitation. If you're weary and heavy burden, come and cast that before him. Soul restoration is only possible though when we have fulfilled 1 and 2. It's only possible for those who have a shepherd relationship with God. It's only possible for those who have submitted to a trusting relationship with God, not those who are anxious, not those who are still questioning where they are with God. It's for those who trust God as their source, including the source of their desires. Those who trust God for whatever state they find themselves and in whatever state they find themselves. He restores our soul, verse 3, only works and is only experienced in the context of God being the Lord being our shepherd, our trust in him and our confidence in him that we will not want is only possible for those who are submitted to him making us, to him leading us. We established that soul restoration is a function of leadership. If you look at the way Psalms 23 is laid out, verse 2 says, he makes me, he leads me, he restores me, and then he leads me. That restoration is sandwiched in between his leadership. So our soul restoration, and I'm going to expand on that a little bit more today, is sandwiched, is a function of the leadership of God. Is a function of the leadership of God. Our restoration is a function of our submission to the leadership of God. Submission to the leadership of God must be persistent for restoration to be possible. Let me say that again. Submission to the leadership of God must be persistent for restoration, for refreshing to be possible. We cannot live out submitting to God and expect to enjoy. That's why God and Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are heavy laden and poor, and I will give you." The point though is, come to me, come away with me, come. If you come, if you submit to me, then I can restore you. It's almost like being upset with a doctor you've not gone to see, or that doctor is not helping me. How are they supposed to help you if you don't go to them? It's when you go to them that they can give you whatever relief that they can provide. So we have to submit to the leadership of God in order to experience restoration. So let's go a lot deeper into this verse 3. Verse 3 says, He restores my soul, He leads me in the paths of righteousness. I was reading it last week, this week, and I saw the semicolon between those. And I went back and I noticed that most of the clauses we've read are connected by semicolons. A semicolon connects related but independent clauses. What does that look like? These things are related. These clauses are, these ideas, these narratives are related to each other. The Lord is my shepherd is related closely to I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, very related closely to He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul, closely related to He leads me in the paths of righteousness. They are not independent ideas. They are connected thematically. So that I just began to notice, okay, He restores my soul. The restoration of my soul is based on Him leading me submitting again, like I said, to the leadership of in paths of righteousness. So we already established that soul restoration is dependent on our submission to God. So let's just push it a little bit. When you hear a path of righteousness, the first dimension of that of the meaning can be right standing with God. That's the generic definition of righteousness: being in right standing, being in right relationship, being in right connection, having God's perspective. That's righteousness. The path that leads to righteousness, when you say the paths of righteousness, you can see, okay, the path that leads to right standing with God. You can see that. It's a path of salvation. Right standing with God is a part of salvation. The Bible says in John chapter 6 and verse 44, Jesus speaking, no one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him. So there's a way that God makes for those who are sinners to come to Him. So God draws them. So when we say yes to God, the Holy Spirit also comes and He guides us into what truth. You see the path. It's all a path to righteousness. Psalm 16 verse 11 says, you will show me, that's what David calls this, the path of life. You will show me, Psalm 16 and verse 11, you will show me the path of life. You will show me the path of life. That's David describing this drawing. So the first dimension of that, He leads me in paths of righteousness, is that salvific dimension unto the salvation of our souls, unto right standing with God. Unto right standing with God. You will show me the path of life. No one comes to the Father. That's the first dimension. But when you look at Psalms 23 and verse 3, you realize it doesn't say path. It says paths. It's plural. It's not singular. He leads me in paths of righteousness. So, and we know there's only one way to God. We believe that through Jesus. So he cannot just be talking about righteousness, right standing with God. We realize David might be talking about more than that. David might be implying more than just salvation, because he's talking about different paths that God leads us. That is not just unto salvation. So what is David saying? He leads me in the paths of righteousness. He leads me in the paths of righteousness. Let's go a little bit deeper in that. Righteousness there, especially in Psalms 23 and verse 3, is literally the Hebrew word that means what is right, what is just, what is normal, but principally what is right. What is right? God leads me in paths that are right. God leads me in paths that are right. God leads me. God leads us. God leads you in paths that are right. For every situation and in every circumstance, there is a path that is right. There is a path that is right. What might be right today might not be right tomorrow. Not about truth. This is not about truth. It's about dealing with circumstances. What might be right for some other person might not be right for you. Pastor Vic, what are you saying? There is a right path for dealing with the conflicts in your marriage. There is a right path for dealing with conflicts at your job, circumstances in your family, circumstances in your business, your dating, in your parenting, in your consecration. There is a right path for everybody. There is a way to deal with it. There is a way to deal. There is a way for every challenge we might face. God has an ordained path out and through it. So the psalmist is saying, hey, it's not just about salvation. He's saying, in whatever circumstance I find myself, whatever I need to deal with, whatever I need to navigate, God has a path for me. God has a path that He wants me to take. God doesn't want us to just figure it out. And we do that a lot, where God tells us what to do and then we try to figure it out. God calls you to do something and then you go on your own and try to complete in the flesh what began in the spirit. And Paul was like, oh, that is foolishness. You cannot complete in the flesh what began in the... Oh, God asked me to start a business. Then we run out and then we want to go and figure it out. No. You go back there and you sit there asking, how? Who am I talking to? How are we doing this? What is the first step? There is a path out of this. Your marriage is facing the same consistent pattern of conflict and turmoil. There is a way out of it. He will lead you in those paths. He's not just interested in providing for your nourishment or providing for your needs in a sense of source. He wants to also be the one that leads you and shows you the way you should navigate different circumstances in your life. Pastor Victor, what are you saying? John chapter 16 and verse 13. It says this, when the Spirit of truth has come, He will guide you into all truth. John 16:13, He will guide you into all truth. He will guide you into all truth. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 21. Isaiah says, your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk in it. Isaiah 30:21, this is the way. You will hear a voice, a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Whenever you turn to the right hand or you turn to the left, you will hear a voice behind you showing you the right path to take. Psalms chapter 5 and verse 8, this is a psalm written by David. It says, lead me in the right path, O Lord, or my enemies will conquer me. Make your way plain for me to follow. David is saying, the pathway to victory, you have to show me. Show me the pathway to victory. I'm in a circumstance faced by adverse things, but lead me in the right path. All my enemies will conquer me. I'm faced by things. I'm going through some persecution. Lead me in the path that guarantees victory. Psalm 17 and verse 5. Psalm 17 verse 5. This is still David speaking. David really captures this submission to the leadership of God, sensitivity to the leadership of God. 17 verse 5 says, my steps have stayed on your path. So you showed me what to do. You showed me how to go about it. And my steps have stayed there. I've not wandered. It says, I have not wandered from following you. My steps have stayed on your path. I did not just download what you want me to do and then go about doing it. No. I followed your required, your prescribed steps. Psalm 65 and verse 11. Psalm 65 and verse 11. You crown the year with a bountiful harvest. Even the hard pathways overflow with abundance. Even the hard pathways overflow with abundance. So it seems difficult. My God, is that the best way? Is that the best route you want me to take? So even those that seem hard, those ones still overflow with abundance. Those ones still overflow with abundance. David is talking about the paths. It's not just about salvation, dealing with issues in my life. So the question then becomes, how do I know? How do I download this right path for every circumstance in my life? Please pay attention. Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 6. Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 6. It says, for the Lord grants wisdom. From his mouth come understanding and knowledge. 7. He grants a treasure of common sense to the honest. He is a shield to those who walk with integrity. 8. He guards the paths of the just and protects those who are faithful to him. Then, verse 9, you will understand what is right, just and fair. And then here's the point, and you will find the right way to go. The Lord grants wisdom. From his mouth comes understanding and knowledge. Then, when you download this wisdom, this understanding and knowledge, you will find the right way to go. Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 10 to 12. Proverbs chapter 10 to 12. It says, my child, listen to me and do as I say. Listen to me and do as I say, and you will have a long, good life. That's a message for somebody right there. Listen to me. Do as I say. Don't just listen. Do what I'm telling you to do. 11, I will teach you wisdom's ways. That means wisdom has its ways. I will teach you wisdom's ways and lead you in straight paths. I will teach you wisdom's ways and lead you in straight paths. Proverbs chapter 4, 10 to 11, 10 to 12. So I will teach you wisdom's ways and lead you in straight paths. When you walk, now if you follow my instruction, if you listen and do as I say, if you listen and you learn wisdom's ways, verse 12 says, when you walk, you won't be held back. When you walk, you won't be held back. When you run, you won't stumble. All tied to what? Wisdom. Wisdom's ways. So the way God delivers his right paths, his paths of righteousness to us, is through his wisdom. It's through his wisdom. Then James chapter 1 verse 5 says, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. Excuse me. He says, he will not rebuke you for asking. He will not rebuke you for asking. So God dispenses his paths of righteousness by his leadership through wisdom. Wisdom is the application of the right thing. You know what to do about this. I was talking to some people yesterday. I can't remember what group or what person. I told them sometimes the gap between where we are and where we need to be is just that we don't know what to do. When you feel stuck in a pattern, in a cycle, it's usually because you have not downloaded the wisdom out of it. Joshua is faced with the wall of Jericho. Now, there are many ways you can try to go about it, and I know many kings have tried. Many enemies have tried, but here is a young man, Joshua, young leader Joshua, standing in front of this wall, massive wall. Okay, so what are we doing? How are we going about this? And he downloads the wisdom, and the wisdom makes no sense, but he downloads it. Because when you download wisdom from God, God becomes responsible for your path. It says in verse 8 of Proverbs chapter 2, he guards the path of the just. He takes on then the responsibility to bring to pass if you listen and obey. So let's put it all together. Let's put verse 3 all together. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. The restoration, the refreshing of our souls is directly determined by our sensitivity and obedience to the leading and the direction of God. Let me say that again. The restoration and the refreshing of our souls is directly tied to our sensitivity and obedience to the leading and the direction of God. If we follow God's right path in any circumstance we find ourselves, we will find restoration. We will find restoration. God has a path for every circumstance, a path for everything that you're dealing with that will help you handle it easier. That doesn't let it, that will help it not cost more than it should. Most of us are paying more than we should because we are trying to figure it out. We're trying to do things our way, and we're paying more than we should. Yesterday, I went to pick up my son, and I was driving home, and there was a car accident. And you know what? Sometimes it's like, oh, how are we going forward? Like, my house is literally just 2 minutes from here, and here you are stuck. What are we doing? How are we going to do this? And thank God for this cop that just came down and just began to direct us on an alternative safe route. If you have a GPS, sometimes it does that. Like, hey, there's an accident on the way. I've recalculated another route to get you to your destination safe. That's what God is like. When you put in the address, when God gives you a desire, when you're stuck and you need to go from chaos to peace, from confusion to clarity, God charts a course for you. He charts a course for you. I'll end with this. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. No temptation has overtaken you except that which is common to man, but God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make the way of escape. He will also make the way of escape. He has a path. He makes a way. He makes a way. He has a path of righteousness. So the restoration and the state of our souls, the peace that we crave, the peace that we want to enjoy, is tied to our ability to be sensitive to and to obey the direction of God. Hope that bless you this morning. Let's pray. Father, thank you for your goodness. Thank you for your mercy. We submit to your leadership. Long and short, as we explore this sheep-shepherd dynamic with you, we realize really it's just boiling down to being sheep, being as dependent as sheep, being as obedient as sheep, being as trusting as sheep, being as reliant on you as sheep. And the more we are reliant on you, the more we are sensitive to your leading, the easier our lives are. Our soul finds rest and restoration and refreshing. We don't spend more than we should, more time, more resources, more energy. We actually enjoy life when we follow your wisdom. So today, teach us amidst the chaos, amidst the confusion, when the devil tempts us to run away, to abandon your path, that we keep our steps within your path, that we remember to turn to you and to ask, well, where would you like us to go? What would you like us to do? To be sensitive to your leading and thus find rest for our souls. In Jesus' name, amen.